Good day, everyone. This is Zahara Valderrama Piapi, and today I will be explaining a tiny personal finance tool C language code that stores and analyzes daily expenses entirely with plain variable and fixed format text lines. So, how did I develop this tool? So, by focusing on file handling and using plain variable in C, I begin by defining a fixed format text structures for storing extends data. Then, I implement a key functionalities adding record, listing extents, calculating daily totals, generating category report, and editing amount. These features were built using standard file handling functions like fopen, fscanf, fprintf, ftel, and fsync. A user-friendly, mini-driven interface was created to navigate. So how did I develop this program? By focusing on file handling and user plain variable and C, I begin to define a fixed format text structures for storing extents data. Then, I implement a key functionalities, adding records and listing extents, calculating daily total, generating category report, and editing amount. These features were built using standard file handling functions like fopen, fscanf, fprintf, ftil, and this is a user-friendly and mini-driven interface was created to navigate between the features. Throughout development, I adhered to constraints such as avoiding structs and only using plain variable. The program was truly tested to ensure it meets the requirements and provide an efficient way for using to manage our finance. So now let's begin explaining our code. In our first sections, we have the standard libraries that we use in our code. These are the STBO, the STBLID, the strings, which the STBO represents for handles are input and output. The STBLID handles are operational memories. Our strings handles the string operation. Now, let's begin on this section, which defines a constant map line with a value of 100 used for line size of buffer limit. And here we also define a constant max cat with a value of 50 used to limiting the number of categories. These lines set up the required libraries and constants for program. So now let's proceed to our next section, which is we explain the functions for adding. Here we open the file extend.txt in append mode A, allowing new data to be added at the end of the file. The file pointer key is used to refer to the open file. So this is to check if the file failed to open, indicating an error. So which if it prints an error message if the file could not be opened, and return the functions early if the file cannot be opened, preventing further code execute. Here declares variable to store the data as a string of 10 character plus 1 for null terminator category up to 15 categories in the amount as the floating point number. Here we prompt the user to enter the data and reads the data input up to 10 characters from the user. Then here we prompt the user to enter a category, which we also read the category input up to 15 characters from the user. After that is we prompt the user to enter the amount, which then reads the amount as the floating point number. Then it writes the user's provide data category and amount to the file in the format year, month, and day category amount. And F close to close the file after writing, and it also prints a message indicating the new extend record has been successful. Let's continue. In this section, I will be explaining about about the functions for list extend. And here we open the file to extenses.txt, which in read mode are if it also check if the file failed to open, and if so, print no extend yet and exit function. Then we declare variable to store data, category amount, and the running total of all extents. After that is we read each lines of the file extracted the data, category, and amount, the lobes, the as long as the three values are successfully read. Then we print the data category and amount of each extent. Then added, here is for added and current extent amount to the running total. Then we print the total amount of spend across all extents. Then we print the total amount of spend across all the files. Then we close the file after reading. In this section, we will be explaining the functions of for our daily total. Now, here is we open the file extensions that text in read mode are. So in this section, it checks if the file cannot be opened. If no, it prints no extend yet and exits the function. Then here in this part, these lines declares the variable to store the input data, file data, category, amount, and the running total. Here we prompt the users to insert data, then it reads the user's provided data input. And these actions read each line from the file extracted, the data, category, and the amount. Then it compares the user's input data with the file data. If they match, the code inside the block runs. Then after that it adds the matches extents among and then this code represents for adding the matching extents amount of the total. In this section, it prints the total amount spent for the specific date, then close the file after reading. So now let's proceed for our next sections. In these sections, we explain the functions for category report. For us, first here, we open the file extensions that text in read mode R and check in this code check if the file could not be opened. If so, print no extends yet and exit the function. In these lines, we declare two arrays, the CAT to store up to 50 unique categories and some for each category count. Track the number of the category process as well. Then we declare variables for reading the data category and the amount from the file. This line, it reads each line from the file, extracting the data category and the amount. This is initialize the plug to track if the category is already record. Then it loops through already record category to check if the current category exists. This code used if the category match an existing one adds the amount to the responding total. We use this code to add the amount of the sum of the found category and sets the flag to indicate a match. In this line, we use it to if the category is not found and there is no room for more category, it adds the new category and initialize its total. Then here, this line, it copies the category to the CAT arrays and initialize the sum for the category. These codes used to copy the category to store the CAT array and initialize the sum for the category. Then after that, we close the file. We close the file after reading all lines. Now here we open the category report that text for writing. It loops these lines through all the categories. And these code write each category and its total amount to the report file. Then after that, it closes the report file after writing. Then it prints a message indicating the report was successful and generated. Now let's proceed to our next section. In these sections, we will be explaining for the functions in edit amount. Here we open the file, extended the text, and read-write mode are last. This checks if the file could not be opened. If so, print cannot open file and exit the function. Here, this code, we declare variable to store the data category and the new amount of for the update. Then we prompt the user to enter the target data and reads it into the target data. Then also prompt the category and then we also read then we also prompt the user to enter the target category and reads it into the target scene. As well as we prompt the user to enter the new amount and store it in a new A and B. Here declares the variable pos to store the file pointer positions and line to hold each line reads from the then it reads each line of the file and store the current file position using fdel. We use this code to declare variable for reading and the data, the category, and the amount from each. Here reads the parses to the line into data category in amount of variable, then check if the data and the category in the current line match the target one. This code, we use this to move the file pointer back to the positions of the target record. While here in this code, we overwrites the amount in the file with a new amount maintaining the current format. And we print update complete if it succeeds message. In this code used if no matching record is found, it prints record cannot be found and it closes the file. Let's proceed for our main functions where the program execute begin returns typically 0 to indicate successful execution. Now the char choice declares variable to choose of the type char to store the user's menu input. We use do to begin a do while loop, which will rapidly use the menu in the process the users to choose at least once. Then we display the menu options to the user and prompt them to enter a choice. So here begins the switch statement to handle the user's input by matching the choice to different cases. Then here, if the choices is A or A in a small letter, the function's added extend is called break, exit, and switch. Then if the case L is if the choices is L, then if the choices is L or in a small letter L, call less extend. And D, if the case D is called or G in a small letter, the call daily total is called. As well as here, if the C or C are letters or smaller letter C, the category report is called. And E or E in a smaller letter is called, then it shows edit amount. Then if Q or Q in a smaller letter is Q, it is called. It prints goodbye and the low is close, exit. And if the choices that's not match any valid option shows on an error message invalid choice. So the use of this code is for to continue looping until the user input Q or Q in a smaller letter. After that is the end of the program and return 0 meaning successful execution. So now let's try to run our code. So that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching.